Good morning and welcome back to the Home Renovation Expert. Steve here, building this lovely 5x3 garden room. You can see it's looking very, very tasty, very nice shape to it. What am I doing today? It's an excellent question. I am today putting in the wiring for the 8 spotlights. I'll also try and get the PIR installation into the roof space as well. Again, that just see how it goes, timing wise and all that sort of stuff. But I've been sort of scratching my head a little bit because this is random shape sort of wall. Obviously that one's like a lot longer and this one's shorter because of the shape of it. I've been thinking, right, how do I mark off all my spotlights? Because obviously the back wall, as it kind of goes in that direction, I want my spotlights to kind of follow. Say I set them 600mm off the wall, obviously I can just ping a line that gives me the 600 going in that way, but then trying to line them all up and stuff is like, right, okay, so I've come up with a genius plan. I know. You're impressed, I'm impressed. So lying in bed last night, you're sort of thinking, how do I do this? So what I'm gonna do is, technical. Because you know it's like, you're trying to like mark off stuff and trying to figure stuff out and you've got like a tape measure in mid-air, trying to hold it up and get your measurements onto the back wall and stuff. Well, firstly, the floor is the same shape as the roof, yeah? So let's stop trying to hold a tape measure up and try and do your measurements. Let's work with the floor. So what I'm gonna do is, I think my first lights are going to come off of each wall at, you can just see there, 600. I had to start like planning it yesterday. So what I'll do is, I've got this like nice straight edge up against here, my level across the 2 walls. This is a lovely square wall. And what I'll do is, I'll drag this at 600 off of this wall, wherever that's going to be. Use that as my base, because obviously it's across the doorway. So there you can see. I'll then mark a line on the floor, all the way through at 600. I'll do the same at the other side, over there. So I'll have 2 perfectly straight inline lines. Inline lines, I like it. And then from there, I can just divide that distance between the lights that I'm going to have in. What was it, 4 rows of 2. And then just double check that they're not landing on any joists. So say the mark, my 600 for argument's sake was right next to this stud. Well, I know I can't have a light there because it's in the way, so then I can bunch it over to the left or the right, see what the husband's doing, and then just kind of equalise it as I kind of go. But I can work on the floor and get that done. Now, a lot of you be like, well, that's good, Steve, but now the mark's on the floor, how do you get it to the ceiling? This is where one of those little professional tools comes handy. So my little laser comes with a very handy top part, which is, if I can turn it on with one hand. Right, can you see that, the top little red light? So I'll put that straight over where the mark is for the light. I then shine up, and there, if I get the thin camera out of the way, is my red mark. That is essentially transferred to exactly where I need my light. Was that a round of applause? Thank you. You don't need to, honestly. So that is my plan. So basically this morning is setting out, getting it all sorted. I do love these lasers. I mean, they just look cool, don't they? Bit greeny sort of look, resistance is futile sort of stuff, but I can see it clearly. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drink a cup of tea first, get set up, get this lot cleared out so I've got a bit of space to work. Done. I'll let you know if it's working. If the next video is me on the floor crying and rocking in a corner, it's not gone as well as I hoped, but I think it should be absolutely fine. See you in a minute. I'm not crying in the corner. It's a good sign. Right, so here gives you the little idea. So like I say, I've drawn a lovely mark across the floor there. I've drawn another one here. So these are basically set 600mm from that wall, okay? You just see that there? So I basically just use the tri-square, mark that across and just use the level up against it to extend it a bit further. The distance between that point and this point is exactly 3515 because I was able to measure it off of that. So I know it's square, which is perfect. Then what I'm doing is, you can just see the laser, which is just up there. So I just got that on the line that I've drawn. And now if you follow it up, I now know perfect through the center, so there's nothing in the way of the light. That was the 600 I drew yesterday. So you can just see, it's just kind of, the building's not running out, but just where it's starting to angle off, it affects that. So by measuring 600 from there to there, that is 600mm, but because the wall's going in this direction, it offsets that. So by doing this system, it means I know that when you walk in, you turn the lights, so you're not gonna look, going, oh, look a bit fucking squint, there's something not quite right there. It's laser precise. Oh yeah. So there you go, that's that. So what I'll do now is, I'll divide 351 by the amount of lights I need, and then mark down the floor, shoot the laser up, make sure, like I say, it's not then hitting a joist, or sort of so close to a joist that you wouldn't really get a light in, so I can then adjust as I need to. And that's them kind of marked up. And then, very, very important, can't emphasize this enough, write down exactly where the lights are going to fall using these measurements off of this wall, taking into account the fact that you're going to have 12mm, half mil plasterboard. So whether the distance is from there to there, I will write down, minus off 12.5mm, because the plasterboard's going to push this wall out. And then I know, once I've got that all written down on a little bit of diagram, I know once I've kind of got the ceiling up, it's plastered, it's painted, I can drill through, and I know I'm going to pick up exactly, theoretically, where my lights are going to be. So yeah, don't just do this and go, sorted, put the things in, put the PIR in, plasterboard, and go, I think it's about there. So perfect, write it down, diagram it up, jobs are good. Right, so just to clarify exactly what it is I did. So basically, like I said, mark those 2 lines off, 600mm from each wall. I've then divided that up. I then got to 171. So what I did was take a tape measure from there to 171 over here somewhere, wherever it was, it's disappeared there. And then to make sure that I get my straight edge again, I just grab this, put it across my 2 doorways. I like that. Put that and line it up on here with my 171 marking. Draw that all the way through. Did the same off of that one over there using a straight edge. And now when I measure from that one to that one to that one to that one, it's exactly 171 all the way through. So it doesn't matter that that back wall disappears and does what it's going to do. I know my lights are going to run true and straight through. So what I'll do now is, let me show, I'll do it live. Kind of lasers on, you're here, I'm here, why not? So I should take this bad boy. There is my line, which is just there. I don't know if you can see it on camera very well, but I'll just laser that up. And now, if I come over here, I can see that that is absolutely, again, beautiful. Loads of space either side. Obviously, same for this end. So that's where the mark's going to be. Loads of space. So far, so good. But because these are the 2 central ones, I won't bother marking that up yet. I want to double check, because if it turns out that this 171 mark, does land on a joist, I can then adjust both of these lines equally. So if I had to bring it over 50mm one side or the other, I'd adjust this one to do exactly the same. So where is my little mark? 171 is there. So just shoot that over there. And don't worry, you don't have to have like expensive lasers and stuff like that. You know, normal cheap lasers will do it. The only thing that the cheap ones might not have is the center dot on the top. And there we go. Perfect. Straight. I love it when a plan comes together. Straight for the center on both of them. So I'll mark that one, shoot that one again, mark it. That's my 4 rows of 2 lights, 2 LED lights. And then all I'll do is I'll mark 600 off of this, again allowing for the 12.5mm plasterboard. Put a 600mm mark here somewhere, and then do the same that end, and then that's it, done. Mark a laser level down it, or just actually a cork line before you do, so I can ping it, and I know I can get my cables in to that spot, ready to rock and roll. Well done, brain, last night. There are sparkies on there now going, it's easy, what are you doing, mate? But you know, for those of us that kind of don't do this part of it all the time, or are working in a slightly different shape, if it's a rectangular one, piece of piss. But I just wanted to make sure that as you come in, you look down them, and you kind of see the lights kind of go off like that, and it's like, oh crap, that would be good. So yes, I'm quite proud of myself for that one. So I hope that helps out somebody else as well. Job's a good one. And there you go. 600mm marks off of this front wall, because this front wall is square. So 600mm off of there, 600mm off the other side, which now means most of them get this way. You can now see that'll be where the lights are going to go through this section. I'll pin 600mm mark there. I'll do the same down this end. Send a laser down, boom. So what I'll do is, for these, I'll just quickly get my old level, line it up on the laser, and put a pencil mark where the laser is. And then that way, when I'm running the cables, I know that's going to be where it is. And then, like I say, I'll just transfer the 600 to the floor as well, and then just shoot my little laser up. I know exactly where my light's going to be in that zone. Easy. And my forgot to just say, which I should have done, is that I marked the 600 up there, done, laser level across, and I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't need to mark that one across there because actually there's my straight perfect line going through there, and where it crosses over there now, I simply take this pencil, mark that, and that is my first light. Now I know when I put the laser over that exact line, put it up, that little red dot is where the first light's going to go. See, even as I'm doing it, I'm sort of making up as I go along, but we get there in the end. Righty dokie, so that is the first fix of the lights now in, done and dusted. So all I've got is a massive bit of cable going out there. The fuse board's going to be on this wall, so there's a load of cable running around that side. That's going to come off for the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seventh one, eighth one, and then that line, it returns back again. As you can see, goes all the way down here to the front and is there. So that'd be the switch. That's all in, so I'm cool and dandy to now like put the PIR installation into the roof and get it all cut, and I'll show you how I get around. So as I do each panel and stick it up, when we've got cables in, I will just trim the very corner of the PIR so it'll fit around that nice, and I'll show you what I do around the lights as well to make sure we've still got insulation around here, but it still gives us space to get the light up and in. So I'm going to start cracking on with that, and I'll get to use my new saw again. Oh yeah, quality. Hello. So you're after another tip, another hot tip, which is going to make your life a little bit easier when you're doing insulation and stuff. Here we go. So you can see here, that is where my light's going to be. It says light, so you know it's official. So this cable's going to move over this side, come down through there like so. Out of my insulation, I want to cut 150mm square, okay? So what I've done is measured the distance between here and the light and the straight edge here and this light, transferred that to the back of my insulation. So you can now see I've got a beautiful little cross. X marks the spot, X marks the spot, okay? So how do you get a nice neat 150mm square? You cut one of these bad boys. So a bit of OSB, done, look at that, perfect. Top tip though as well, leave the lines on the back, all right? So what you'll end up doing is, you'll put that over there like so, and then just line up your squares like this, and that is it. I now mark around it, cut it out, and I use the same template for all 8 lights. That's it, that's my whole cut, that's the light ready to go in. And the bit that I chop out, so the actual bit, the 150mm square that comes out of here, I'll take it out, turn it on this side, and chop it straight through its center. So I'm chopping it through its width there. So I end up putting in a 50mm bit back into this, and that bit will be the bit that goes up against the OSB here. So I'll show you that once I go to put it in, but I thought that's quite a nice way to kind of get it done. Little template, took no time at all to knock up, and that'll do all 8 lights then. Yeah. So here we go. I've now chopped out the hole using my plasterboard saw, PIR saw. So there it is, perfectly squared. I've then taken the bit of soft cut and chopped it down its width. So now, once this is pushed up to the ceiling, this will go back in this little hole. I've marked the top part so it lines up, it's the same shape. And this will basically be where the, what do you call it? This is the OSB roof. And you turn it over, and that'll be the recess ready for the light to go into. And I forget, that's 50mm, so they're a bit deeper than that, but you've actually got the difference in height of there as well to take into account. So you've got plenty of space for the light fitting to go in and stuff. So all I've got to do now for this part is where the cable's now tacked to a roofing joist. I'm just going to take my little saw, just put a 45 angle across there, and then that means when this is pushed up against my OSB roof, that the cable will not get in the way and will not force this away from the ceiling, okay? Because what you want is you want these tight up against your OSB. You don't want an air gap. You want the air gap at the bottom end. So that's it, that's how you do it. So these are the more complicated ones, putting in for the lights. The rest of them just straightforward cuts. So there you go, hope this helped out a little bit. Again, when you're cutting your PIR, I do the same as I did in the last video. Just chop the circular saw straight through it and use the hand saw just to finish it off. Keeping it nice and straight like that. That way you get a perfect straight cut every single time. Because when you stop, nothing happened. What's the matter with you? It's fine. When you do start to cut, if you start cutting just handsaw or whatever, and you can't start getting bends and bits and pieces, it doesn't go into the recess very well, you know, and it's just a bit of a ball ache. So yeah, that's it. So I'm going to check to make sure my phone's still working, but apart from that, crack on. So, show you it in place. There you go. You can now see, lovely, lovely. So you can see it just chopped out there as well, so the cable can run to the deck. Nice and tight up against it. I've put a couple of 90mm nails in just to hold it in place. Like I'll do the same as I did on the walls. So once these are all up, I then put a bit of the foam expanding around it, just so if anyone's ever up on the roof or whatever and they're walking, these don't then fall away from the OSB and upside the back of the plasterboard. So what I'll do now is take my lovely little thing, making sure that the foil is at the back. Force that nice and tight up there. And that is it, up against the deck. Bring it across and there you go. Done. I'll wind this up into a coil, put it in the hole. Done. It really is simple. Again, none of this is rocket science. Anyone can do it. So yeah, don't be afraid of stuff. If you don't like doing electrical work and stuff like that, then just get a sparky in. Done. But the rest of it, you know, what you can do, you do it. And you know, little tips like this, they go a long way to make your life a lot easier. So I hope it helps you out. Right, I've done all the light ones. The reason I've done the light ones first is because they are the hardest ones. They take the most time. So a bit like when you're a kid and you got your dinner in front of you, always eat the crap first, save the best for last. Or do you eat the best first in case you fill up? Well, anyway, I've done the lights first, right? Okay, so they're done. Very nice. Nice big apertures. Plenty of space for your light to go in. Cable, plenty of length on that, so when it comes down, piece o' piss. The other thing I've done is, when I push these bits in, I've got like these twist nails, and I literally, just to keep these in place, if I get the camera in a rougher, just literally just grab it and poke it and push it with your finger. Voila. So I've done that to all of them as well, so that just keeps that centre light bit in. Perfect. So that is it. So now I'm going to probably have a quick cup of tea and a bite to eat, and then crack on with the rest of the ceiling. So whether or not I can get this finished in PIR today, I don't know, but I will crack on. What's going to happen over these parts hither is I'm going to put in rock wall insulation, just poke that right in there, lovely job. Do the same over here, above the steel, and then that's it. Then this can be vapor barrier the walls, and then we're like tacking staging for the plasterboard. So, well, it's all very exciting, isn't it? Are you excited? I'm excited, so yeah. So that's it, I'm going to have a bite to eat. I'll catch you in a second. Dusty goodness. Right, so I've now cracked on very nicely actually. So now all the insulation is now in the entire roof space. You'll also notice that at the back there's no more daylight. So that has now been, I already call it this insulation, fibre insulation. That's all done there, all the way through. And as you can see, the front as well. So it's now completely and utterly insulated. So what I'm going to do now is get the old expanding foam and just run across every joint just to close up any gaps, and also it helps keep the stuff in place as well. Like I say, something's jumping around on the ceiling and cutting like the tree or whatever, doesn't matter, it's not going to plop down then. And then once I've done that, see what the time is and possibly start vapor barring as well. The other thing I've done is cut the patches, so this will be what's holding the TV in place. So all I did with this was literally cut it to obviously the aperture size. Then I've got my nail gun and fired 50mm nails, boom, 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 all the way through the sides. And then also fired diagonally through that way. So once the plasterboard is in, on and fit as well, that'll easily hold your TV up, no bother at all. And obviously we'll cut the socket out once we kind of get to the point where we're running the 2.5mm in. That's all going to be run from the exterior, so that doesn't have to be run inside as well, which is a lot easier way of doing it. Yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of cool. It's very cool. So yes, I shall crack on and get this all like gunned in, and then see what the time is and see if I can get on with some vapor barrier. Get in there slowly. So did I get the vapor barrier up? No, I didn't. What I did do instead was, because the site was looking a bit messy and stuff, and I don't really like working in mess. So I had a nice old clear up, got my old blower out, cleaned off all the grass, all the trees and bushes and stuff like that. Cleaned up in here now, so it's all been swept out, and I give it a good old blast out with the blower. Because a clean site is a happy Steve. So what the plan will be now tomorrow is, I'm going to go off to the other job, the Western Red Sea one, put down a ton of pea shingle behind it, and then come back to this site. And then the plan will be get the vapor barrier all on, which is just there. It's very nice. So basically it's just using the tack stapler, just whack it up, get it in place. And then I might pick up some batten and start battening the outside, a bit of Battenberg, gotta love that. And then possibly get some plasterboard and start plasterboarding in here. But I won't be able to pick that up because the van is literally laden with shingles, so I'm gonna have to pick that up at some point tomorrow. But yeah, otherwise, that's happy days, eh? So I'm very chuffed. So if you like what you've seen, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. If you have any questions or comments, ping them down below. I'll get back to you. Apart from that, I hope you enjoyed this series. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.